I've got a handful of polymer clay beads and baubles. I've been working in my studio and having a great time working with the clay. I even made this bracelet just to wear it for this video. I've got a little box here that I've done, and I've got some things inside the box that I'll be happy to show you. Let me just open the box, and here's a necklace. Very pretty little heart necklace. Lots of beautiful detail. Got another necklace here. As I said, I've been busy. Here's another pretty necklace. I also put another bracelet together, and I just do it on a stretch cord. So it's very easy. It slides over whatever, your hand, your wrist, and very pretty. So these are some of the things that I just finished making. And now I want to show you my tray. So my tray, for what we're doing today, don't need a lot of different things, but I do need some conditioned polymer clay. I am working with Sculpey, and I tend to work with white, but you don't have to work with white for this. You can work with whatever colors you want. You could even squish them together and work with a mixed batch of color, because the technique we're doing today will be covering over all of the clay color. So on my tray you might say, hey, what's that? Isn't that a cookie cutter? What's that doing on the tray? I just wanted to show you the box that I showed earlier that I had some of the jewelry in. I actually made the star using this cookie cutter, and then I did some of the baubles and trimmed the side of the box. I think it's really pretty. It was fun to do. Just a little incentive for you. Let me tuck those aside and address the rest of the things on the tray. Okay, I've got glitter here, all different colors, and I tip my glitter upside down so I can see the colors as I'm working. Always got to have a fluffy brush to wipe away the excess glitter. I've got my clay blade just in case I need to scoop something up, and it's a very easy thing to use for scooping things up. Obviously, I showed you the big cookie cutter. There are some little ones. Some of these are from the craft store. You can use them for making jewelry. The heart that I showed you earlier, I cut out of clay, and I use this little cutter for it. So that makes it all very easy. I've got mica powders. Main ingredients here, glitter and mica powder for coloring and doing detail on our clay. Here I've got Rubber Nature clay molds. I designed these. In a previous video, I think I showed you this one and mentioned that I'd come back and show you how to use the clay molds. So we're going to do that today. And if you get interested in purchasing any of these clay molds, we'll have links to our website and to Smiling Summer Girl. She sells a lot of wonderful products. I've got some wax paper here. It'll be handy for me to use, especially when I'm working with the mica powders. And the other thing I wanted to show you is that while I've got clay that is conditioned, and I've conditioned by hand, and I'm ready to use it for some of the smaller pieces, the baubles, sometimes I need clay that's been rolled out, either with a rolling pin or through the pasta machine. You have to make sure that it's conditioned as well. And if I do this ahead of time, I just fold it up and put it in a piece of wax paper until I'm ready to use it. I've got some little spoons that are handy for working with the glitter. Oh, Summer Girl sells the glitter, and she gives you a spoon with it. Nice. Of course, it wouldn't be me unless I had toothpicks with my polymer clay and a skewer. So I've got those and a couple of other little tools here. So that's it for the tray. I'm going to set the tray aside and bring the clay on, and we'll start working. I pulled some supplies off my tray, And I also brought back this little heart necklace because I'm going to show you how to work with something like this. So let me set the necklace aside, and I'll keep the other things on my tray. And I've got the piece of polymer clay that I had worked through my, actually I put it through my pasta machine, and I did it on the highest setting, which on my machine was a 7. So I've got this piece, and I could cut it into smaller pieces, or I could work with the whole piece. I'm going to show you how I might work with the whole piece. So if I take some of my clay molds and put them down, I'll do a little variety here. Okay, and I'm just going to take my clay and press. Now, if you hand roll the clay out instead of through the pasta machine, you can keep it a lot thicker. And if you keep it a lot thicker, then you could actually just take your mold and press it right down into the piece. But for the thickness that I have here, this is the way I need to work. And I'm just pressing. I guess I'll flip it over and let you see I'm getting a nice design inside. And I am just using a bunch of different designs just so you can see some of the possibilities. Okay, this is working very nicely. Pull that back out. See this? I've got a dragonfly here too. So they are fun. There's a nice little flower, and I'll get a piece of that in here too. Okay, I've got a lot of nice detail here. So I've got some opportunities to just create some beautiful pieces. And I'm going to use my cutter, and since we started out and I showed you the heart necklace, I'll do another heart and just give this a press here. And I've got my piece, and hopefully the camera is picking this up. It will in a minute. Maybe I want to make an earring. Ooh, this leaf shape would be beautiful for that earring. I'm just going to take and cut this. Okay. Probably would cut a little easier if I had turned the cutter the right direction. Anyway, I've got another piece here. And then I'll just save these. I could do something different with them at some point in time. I'm going to set these pieces off. My clay off my table. And we will continue on. I mentioned bringing out a little bit of wax paper to work on. So our next step is going to be using some mica powder. And I have these larger jars of it, and then I also have the smaller jars. When I work with the powder from the smaller jars, I usually just put some in the cap and work that way. When I work with the larger jars, I can actually just stick my finger right inside the jar, the side of the jar, and pick up some. So my fingers are going to get a little messy. I didn't mention earlier baby wipes, but they are handy to have, and I actually have some on my table. So I've got my mica here, and I'm just coming around, and you see how easy and how pretty this is. And I'll stay with the same color. We'll just keep it going that way. And how easy and pretty. Now I've got another little heart that I actually cut out earlier, and I'm going to bring it over and show you the difference with this piece. It is a little thicker. Okay, I didn't want to take the time to do that right now, but what I did with this piece, once I cut my pieces out, I had another piece of rolled out clay, and I positioned this on top so I could make it twice as thick, and it's going to be a lot easier to pick up and handle if it's thick like this. So I'm just going to do this one and come back in and go around the edges a little bit. So I probably would have taken these and put them on another layer of clay. So we want to get to that point where we have it nice and thick. So once the mica is finished, I'm going to get the glitter out. Just move these other pieces out of the way. When I work with glitter, I like that little folded piece of paper. Sometimes when I've got a big jar like this, I can work right in the jar. That's handy as well. Now you know I usually like a toothpick to hold onto my pieces with. In this instance, I'm not going to use a toothpick on it because this is a piece that I might just put a little jump ring, put it inside, push it in, and that will be the piece that will attach to my chain for my necklace. I'm not going to worry about doing that right now. I could also put a glue-on bail behind this. That would work nicely too. So for this piece, I'm just going to pour some glitter over it and just take a nice amount of the glitter. And then we needed the fluffy brush, so I'm going to take my fluffy brush and start brushing away. And a little bit on the edges. Any place that I have put mica powder, glitter will not stick to. Because I'm working with clay that hasn't been baked yet, it's got enough moisture in it that the glitter will stick in those areas. So basically, this is all you have to do. And then I'm going to get rid of the extra glitter. This will get baked and it'll become part of my jewelry. I'm going to set this aside and get ready to make the next piece. So I brought some other supplies out, got some clay, and I'm just going to make some quick beads. So I'm back with the toothpick, pushing it in to make the hole in my bead. And I'm going to take a couple of the clay molds. Now I'm using two the same. And when I do that, I just take and press like this, and it's that simple. And so I've got a bead. I'm going to lay it here, and we'll get another one ready, just so you can see a couple. We'll do a different size. And again, with the toothpick. And let's do a flower. I'm looking here and I'm finding a pretty flower. This time I'm going to use two different molds, but I want to do something that's floral. So I've got that in. I've got a larger bead, very pretty. I am going to just take my fingers, the clay is so forgiving, and just press that where it opened up a little bit. Okay, I'm ready with these two. And I am just going to add the color to them so you can see how that goes. Another little piece of paper, and I need to use my mica powder, and I am going to use this. It's like a black, it's like a antique silver. Okay, it looks black in the jar. And I'm just going to rub over my areas, and you see how it's working. Need a little more. Get the back side of this piece. That's really pretty. So I'm got this one ready in a couple of minutes. I think I'm going to have a baby wipe, so I have got some here. Okay, open sesame. You know, you could use the gloves. I just find it a little bit too difficult. So clean up a little bit. Okay, I'm all cleaned up. And I'm going to get another mica color. I'm going to try this one. And this is a smaller jar, so I had mentioned sometimes I'll just take the toothpick and get a little bit of the mica off into the cover. That's what I'm doing there. And now I can just get my finger into this and rub over. What a pretty color. It's kind of a sea foam, very pretty. Okay, a little here. So the mica is going on all the raised areas, and the glitter is going in all the recessed areas. So now I'm ready to glitter. Ooh, I've got to do purple with this one. I think that's going to be really pretty. So I'll get my paper back over here, get my little spoon, and I'm just going to try to spoon over the jar this time. Save myself a little work. Okay, both sides done. Okay. And the fluffy brush. So pretty. Fun with the polymer and this technique is you can make jewelry to match any outfit you have. It's really very fun. That one's all ready, and let me just pop off the extra here. And what color do I want to put in with this? Silvery. Oh, let's see. I think I'm going to put this in. It's a beautiful teal. I think that's going to be an interesting combination. I'm going to have to pour this one over. Okay. That fluffy brush comes in so handy. Oh, look at this. It's just glowing. And of course, you could make several of the same beads. Make them the same size, make them different sizes, put them together, and voila, you've got a bracelet. So these pieces that I just made are ready to be baked. Now once they're baked, I am going to put a coating on. I have to do that when I work with glitter and whenever you work with mica. If it's jewelry, you always want to put a coating on. So I'm going to put a coating on, and what I've done on the piece that you saw, the pieces you've seen today, is I've used this Pledge Floor Care finish. It's a 2 times more shine. It's great. So that works really well, and you can actually dip your pieces if you want to. The other thing that I use sometimes and really like is this Minwax polyacrylic spray. Probably put on more than 1 coat of the polyacrylic, and the Minwax is just such a nice product. It doesn't attack anything that we're working with here today. So that's what I've got to show you today, and stay tuned for my gallery. I'll show you a few other pieces that I made.